Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a fresh, off-the-press news report from the world of the WWE. Raw finished but hours ago, but the foundations of the WWE are still shaking after Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon would come to the ring to address the WWE Universe with news that nobody see coming. I'll begin this news report by recapping the events of Raw for those that missed it, explain all of the changes going forward, and end with how this could affect the WWE Universe forever. So let's begin by recapping this evening's Monday Night Raw. The post-WrestleMania Raw started as it does most years, with Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon strutting his way down to the ring with microphone in hand. Mr. McMahon spoke of what a great success he believed WrestleMania 33 was. He said he was proud of every single superstar on the roster for putting on such a momentous show and thanked each and every one of them. Mr. McMahon would continue by saying that it somehow felt bittersweet though, as he had to watch The Undertaker walk away from the WWE forever, all but confirming the dead man's retirement. It was at this point that things really started to heat up and things really got interesting. He continued by saying that if someone as iconic as The Undertaker could hang up his gloves and walk away from the WWE, maybe even he, the chairman of the board, could do so too. The mad professor of pro wrestling continued by saying that he was tired, an old man compared to that built the WWE during the Attitude Era in the early 90s. He said that he was ready to hand the company over to younger, more capable hands. He explained that although most would assume that the company would go over to his kids, Stephanie and Shane, this was not to be the case. He said that he did not trust his children, and I quote, "Those spoilt kids of mine will never be ready to run my pride and joy." Shots fired from the chairman of the board. It was at this point that Mr. McMahon announced the unthinkable. He has sold the WWE. He said that the new men in charge had ideas to take the WWE forward. It would change the landscape of the WWE forever, but they'd left him a very rich and happy man. He went on to thank the WWE Universe for everything they'd done to support him and his great company over the years, and he implored the fans to get behind the new owners who he believed will definitely do great things with the WWE. He could barely hold back the tears as chants of "Thank you Vince" rung out in the arena. With emotions boiling over and the crowd in a state of shock, it was at this point that Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon would welcome the new owners to the ring. The new owners came in the form of CBTV. Nothing was known of this new company, but the music would hit. A lone figure would appear at the top of the ramp. The new owners had arrived. We would later find out that this elusive figure was in fact Daniel Callender, one of the owners of CBTV, a network platform for sports programming. As he entered the ring, Vince McMahon would pass him his microphone, an almost passing of the torch moment. Daniel would begin by addressing the WWE Universe. He said this was a dream come true for him and his brother. They'd been WWE fans for life. He explained that this was going to be a Monday Night Raw like no other. He described there was going to be no action, but there was going to be plenty of change to the WWE Universe's format. He highlighted 3 main points. The first of which was that he is now the new GM of Monday Night Raw, and that his brother Darren would be the new GM of Smackdown on Tuesday nights. He apologised for his brother's absence, but he was in fact getting ready for tomorrow's Smackdown Live. His second point was a big one. He said there was going to be a championship shake-up. He explained that him and his brother felt there were far too many championships across both Raw and Smackdown Live. They both believe there's no need to have a Universal title and a World Heavyweight title. There's no need to have 2 female titles. There's no need for 2 tag team titles. And he explained there was going to be plenty of change where the titles were concerned. He went on to say that the Universal title would now be retired. The World Heavyweight title would be defended across both platforms. He explained that SmackDown's women's title was now going to be reimagined as the Women's Intercontinental title and would be a SmackDown only women's belt. And that the Raw Women's title would stay on Monday Night Raw as is. It would effectively be the women's version of the men's heavyweight title. He explained that him and his brother believed that there should be a ladder system in place for the women, a lot like there is for the men. He then explained that Raw's tag team titles and SmackDown's tag team titles would be unified, and then the tag team division would be defended across both brands. He explained that the Intercontinental title would now switch to Monday Night Raw and the United States Championship would switch to Tuesday night's Smackdown Live. Dan then went on to explain that with all the changes to all of the championships in the WWE, all current champions must relinquish their titles. How this is going to sit with the WWE superstars is yet to be seen. I'm pretty sure that Brock Lesnar will not be too happy having won the Universal title the night before at WrestleMania. Repercussions are ahead, no doubt. Daniel then went on to close his first WWE address by telling the WWE Universe that him and his brother had done a secret WWE draft moments after WrestleMania had finished. He explained they were so confident that Vincent Kennedy McMahon would sell them the WWE, they put it in place that a new WWE draft would take place on Monday Night Raw, and the superstars competing on each brand were now to be revealed. Dan would go on to reveal the top 5 picks for both brands. Dan would take for Monday Night Raw Kevin Owens as his overall #1 pick. Darren, over on SmackDown Live, would take Bray Wyatt. Dan followed that up with the addition of Finn Balor. He explained that Darren went on to fill his roster at number 2 with John Cena. At number 3, Dan took Sasha Banks. Darren would take Enzo and Big Cass. At number 4, Dan would take Seth freaking Rollins. And Darren would take Charlotte. At 5, Dan would take the formidable tag team of Gable and Jordan. And Darren would finish his top 5 off with Dean Ambrose. So after Dan had finished reading out all of the superstars that would compete across both rosters, he then surprised the WWE Universe with one more announcement. He explained, as neither brand had champions, that over the coming weeks, the superstars would be competing to become #1 contenders. And at a very special one-off pay-per-view, the champions would be crowned. He would announce that the pay-per-view was a Raw and SmackDown pay-per-view. It would take place 4 weeks from Monday Night Raw, and it would be called WWE Domination. He not only wished all of the WWE superstars luck, he wished his brother Darren luck too. We can sense there's going to be some sibling rivalry along the way. The crowd, now exhausted from all of the excitement and all of the announcements, Dan would finish his first WWE address by telling the fans that Monday Night Raw would now draw to a close. There would be no wrestling, there would be no competition. It would start tomorrow night on Tuesday night's SmackDown Live. He thanked the fans for their time and their patience, and he left the arena. So that was Monday Night Raw. It left plenty of questions unanswered, but there's plenty of stuff that we do know. We're now going to run through the major changes that we're aware of. So first and foremost, we know that Daniel Cullender is going to be in charge of Raw as their new GM, and Darren Cullender is going to be in charge of SmackDown Live. We don't know much about either man. We don't know how they're going to run each show. Do they get on? Are they friend? Are they foe? I'm sure we will learn in the coming weeks. The one big thing we learnt though was which show would hold which belt. Obviously the championship shake-up is a massive deal. The big shock retirement of the Universal title is massive. It's barely a year old. Brock Lesnar winning it at WrestleMania, he is going to be very, very angry, and I'm sure he's going to want answers on his return. The reimagining of the SmackDown Women's title is massive too. A female Intercontinental title is a first for the WWE. I quite like the idea of there being a ladder system in place for the women, a lot like there is the men. As we all know, the majority of men to win the Intercontinental title usually go on to bigger and better things, and hopefully this will be the case for the majority of the women on both rosters. So now let's place the belts on the shows that they belong. Let's start with the WWE Heavyweight Championship. This is going to be a cross-brand belt. It's going to sit in the middle, which means it's going to be ultra competitive going forward. Both brands are going to want this belt. It's the marquee belt. Your show will be the biggest show if you have the champion of this title. Next up, we've got the tag team titles. They are going to be cross-platform competed as well. We have since been informed that the WWE are going to revert back to the bronze tag team titles that were in place before the brand split. last year. We also learnt that the Intercontinental title will now find its home on Raw. This is a belt that comes with plenty of prestige, and I'm sure the superstars on Raw will be competing heavily to be the champion of this title. The United States Championship now finds its home on Smackdown Live, another title that in the last few years has become really important to the growing reputations of plenty of stars on the show. Like I've already touched upon though, the female division is the most intriguing. Smackdown's women's title has now been reimagined as the Women's Intercontinental title. We are yet to see what this belt looks like, and I'm sure it will be revealed at the WWE pay-per-view in the next few weeks. As far as the Raw Women's title is concerned, I guess this has been reimagined itself as well. No longer is it Raw's Women's Championship, it's more of a Women's Heavyweight Championship, a lot like WWE's Heavyweight Championship. This will find its home on Raw, which in my mind means the women's division on Raw has more prestige than that on SmackDown. But I'm sure SmackDown's women's division will be ultra competitive in trying to capture the Women's Intercontinental title that finds its home on their show. Daniel did also tease that there could be brand new titles debuting as well. Could this mean that the Hardcore Championship is making a comeback? Is there going to be maybe a TV title? Or could we see the return of the European Championship? The other thing we're aware of is which show the superstars will now be considering home. The draft is massive picks for Dan and huge picks for Darren. KO going at number 1 overall obviously means Dan is a massive fan. Darren taking John Cena means he's got the pulling power as far as merch is concerned. There's big stars on either show and we now have the full lists. As you can see, as well as the top 5 superstars that were revealed on Raw, the rosters are jam-packed. There were some huge picks on both shows, but there's some notable superstars that have been left out. The other huge talking point and the other major announcement that we can talk a little bit about is obviously Daniel confirming that there will be a pay-per-view in 4 weeks' time. We have since learned that this is a one-off pay-per-view. It's the only time it is going to happen, and it has purely been put in place to find the best of the best and put the belts around the waists of some of the WWE's best superstars. We can also confirm, like Dan did, that it will be called WWE Domination. We can only assume that they've called it this because on the night we're going to find out which show is the more dominant. At the end of the day, we already know that the tag titles and the WWE heavyweight title are cross-platform titles. Could both titles find their way to Raw or SmackDown? And I guess the only thing left to cover is how this is going to affect the WWE Universe going forward. And the simple answer is, we just don't know. We don't know enough about these men to know how they're going to manage the shows. We don't know if they're friend or foe. We don't know how much more change is going to happen in the WWE. The one thing I do know though is we're going to have to tune in to Tuesday night's Smackdown Live to find out just how Darren Callender gets on in charge of his first night. This surely has to go down as one of the biggest shocks in WWE history. Vince McMahon no longer in charge, Stephanie and Shane ignored by the former chairman of the board. And with 2 strange men in charge, we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. This has been your WWE update, and like I said, be sure to tune in to Tuesday night's Smackdown Live, and that's all from me for now.